Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel we talk about fashion, DIY, sewing and lifestyle, pattern drafting and how to sew and how to cut. So in today's tutorial I'll be making this dress I saw on AC by Aces page. It's a skirt and a blouse, but in this tutorial I'll be making the upper part, and these are the materials I'll be using: a sequence, a crepe fabric, my tape, my scissors, my zip and my thread. So please, if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, kindly do so. And these are the measurements I'll be needing for today's tutorial. And right now this is me marking the shoulder points for this tutorial on my pattern paper. So like I said earlier, the measurements for this tutorial: the bust point is 10 inches, the below bust is 13 inches, while the half length, which is the waistline, is 15 inches, and the length for this blouse is 21 inches, but I'll be using 20 inches since the pattern paper is not enough. And this is me joining my lines together, trying to create a straight line, sorry, where I'll be marking my measurement. So after I was done doing that, I had to label my bust point, under bust, my waistline, my full length and my shoulder line. Alright guys, I couldn't film while I was actually drafting this due to shortage of power supply. That's why I had to make a separate video for it. So as you can see here, I had already cut out my yoke here since the blouse is an off-shoulder blouse, and I'm going to be showing you how I derived this. So my customer doesn't want a blouse to be off, so I had to use -5.5 for the offness. That is, from here to here is 5.5. That's for my yoke. So since I'm not needing this part for today's tutorial, I'm going to take it off and go to the main explanation of today's tutorial. So like I said, I had to remove -5 inches from here. That's my yoke. So from here is -5 inches down to the length of the blouse, which is 20 inches. It's actually not the actual length for the blouse, but because the pattern paper is not giving us the actual length for the blouse, that's why I had to use 20 inches here. So from here to here is my bust line of 10 inches, my under bust of 13 inches. That's my client's measurement. Half length of 15 inches. So as you can see here, this is the waistline, which is the half length line. For the dart, since it's just going to be an English dart, I have to take from here to here is my client's nipple to nipple measurement, and the nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. So from here to this place is 3.5 inches. So for me to derive my English dart, from this point here, I hope you can see this clearly. From this point here, I have to come out by half of an inch on the left hand side and also half of an inch on the right hand side. Then I connected both lines together like this, as you can see. I connected both lines together, and I also connected the lines to the under bust here, as you can see. Then the next thing I did was to mark out my client's measurements. A bust is 36 divided by 4, which is 9 inches. So from here to here, I hope you can see this. From here to here is 9 inches. Then the allowance I added was 2 inches. Since she's not really that big, so she doesn't want much of the allowance. Then for the under bust of my client is 29, is 30 inches, sorry. So from here to here, your 30 inches divided by 4, that's 7.5, which is 7.5. So from here to here is 7.5 inches. Then I added the same 2 inches allowance. Then the waist measurement for my client is 28. So from here to here is 7 inches. That's 28 divided by 4, which is 7 inches. Then the 1 inch that I used here, I had to add it here for the allowance because we will be using this part for the darts, and it's actually going to affect the real waist measurement of this dress. So the 1 inches that I used here, I had to add it here with the same 2 inches allowance that I'm using for this blouse. Then for this place, I have my client's hips measurement, which is 38 inches divided by 4 is 38 inches divided by 4, that's 9.5 inches. So the allowance I used was 1.5 instead of the usual 2 inches that I used there. That's because I really don't want this place to be big. Then for this curvy sign, you guys can see here, the actual length of the blouse is 20. All I did was to just go down, come up by 1 inch. I came up by 1 inch here, then I came up by 1 inch here, sorry. I came up by 1 inch here. I'm sorry I don't have that part here. I came up by 1 inch here, then I curved it to the actual length of this pattern paper. And so for the armpit side, I had to bring back this yoke. Sorry about that. How to get your client's sleeve armhole is, I said my shoulder in the beginning of the tutorial. From here, like, this is my shoulder. I just hope you guys can see this clearly. So I had to come down by 1 inch, then slant it to my neckline because our shoulders are not straight actually. Then to get your client's armhole measurement, her bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So my client's bust is 36 inches divided by 6, that's 6 inches, plus 1.5, that's 7.5. So from here, I'm sorry this pattern paper is looking this way. I wasn't able to film this when I was cutting. So from here to here is 7.5 inches. I hope you guys get that. That was going to look, I'm going to take that part as my new chest line. Then all I did was just draw a line here. Then my client is not of the bigger size, so I had to use 1.5 to get my curve, 1.5 here, and also 1.5 here. Then for this part, the 7.5, I divided it by 2. I had 3 3/4. Then I came out by half of an inch to get, because to get this slopy thing you guys can see here. Then I was able to curve it, and I joined both points together, and it came this way to where I had my allowance. Guys, I'm so sorry this tutorial is actually looking this way. So please, if you really need a better understanding on how to cut the armhole of your client's dress, please drop a comment in the comment section, and I will be glad to make a new video concerning that. So when I was done marking, then I cut the way you're seeing this. And my pattern paper is actually not folded because I was not having enough pattern paper left, and I really needed to do this video. I just hope you guys can understand. That's why I had to split my pattern paper into 2. So please, if you're making yours, please don't split your pattern paper into 2. Alright guys, so once I was done drafting the front part, the next thing I did was to place my front pattern on my back piece. Then I marked my zip allowance, which is 1.5 inches, as we all know. Then I took my ruler to connect a straight lines between all of them. Then the next thing I did was to cut out the pattern paper, since the front part was already facing the back piece. So after I was done cutting out the front and the back piece of the pattern paper together, the next thing I did was to notch where my zip was going to stay. So after that, I placed my pattern paper on my actual fabric, took my tape rule, then measured the actual length, which was 21 inches on my fabric. Then I added extra 1 inch since I was going to be turning it with a lining. So that gave me 22 inches on my actual fabric, since my pattern paper was actually 20 inches. Then next thing I did was to use my chalk to mark it round so it will be easy for me to cut. Then I took my scissors and then just cut round the place that I had already marked with my chalk. So to avoid your clothes from moving while cutting, and I will advise that you pin your clothes down to avoid it from moving. So the thing I did in the front part of this dress, I actually applied the same to the back part of this dress. Used the same thing I did for the front, I did the same thing for the back. I traced it around with my chalk, measured my actual length. Then there was this thing I did at the waist side. I came in by half of an inch by the waist side, connected both lines as you can see me do right now, to give this curvy look around the zip allowance, to avoid our zip from puffing at the back of our dress. Then the next thing I did was to take my scissors and I just cut round on the chalk where I had already marked. I also cut out that half inch that I came in with on both the pattern paper and on this fabric. Then after I was done with that, I had to cut my lining piece on the front part of my fabric and also at the back part of my fabric. So since I was going to be turning my fabric with the lining, I had to take 1/4 of an inch at the end part of the lining. So the next thing I did was to draft out my sleeve. The sleeve is a big sleeve. This big sleeve, not the normal straight sleeve that we all know. So please, if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, kindly do so, and please click on the next video for the sewing tutorials on this particular top. Thank you.